Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for October 15th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 289, and I am Mayor Watt, and along with the Sentient AI from the future. Sorry, the Sentient AI just sent me an error message, but that's okay. We'll keep going. Today, we're going to be talking about Expert Copilot, portable hydrogen cartridge, cloning a weight loss drug, disappearing red box kiosks, over-tourism is not about tourists, box pop mobile bar, the secret tomb for the whip indie. Was this written in AI? Sorry, my brain went straight to another comment. Trashed Bitcoin hard drive. And is that 29 turtles, or are you kayaking to Canada? The whole was this written by AI? My brain went straight to that. There's this kind of meme thing where somebody says, "Well, I've got nipples. Can you milk me?" It's kind of funny in my head when you make the connection, but only funny in my head. Welcome to Non Sequitur News. That right there is the visualizer for the Sentient AI, which represents the amount of computational power necessary to create the voice for the Sentient AI.
My computational power is low today. Good evening, ohmTown citizens, and welcome to Non Sequitur News.
I'm glad everything is working because I had made modifications to the interface. And anyway, let's get into all of the... I tried to play New World Eternum today.
And how'd that go?
Well, everything was great, except that it would periodically stutter and then the audio would cut out. But I don't know where the problem is. So I recorded an hour and then I was like, oh, crap, it's not recording the audio portion of it. Cause it would go stutter. And I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. So I'm going to have to recreate a character and play, re-record. Anyway.
Is it an early access?
It's not early access, but it just dropped. So I don't know. Maybe they're still working out bugs. Everything is perpetual beta anyway. So let's get going though. I've always liked New World, even though people kind of go meh about it. I really like it. It's a lot of fun, and you don't have to rely on anybody else. I think you can pretty much play the game. I've had several characters, but I only kept one so far. Anyway, let's keep going. First article is over in The Word in Law, one of our many 50 channels that are over at ohmTown.com. Only 7 of which do we do live, but there are 50 channels. See, you can see. Oh, you can't see them because I'm.
Well, they really are there.
they're really there. I mean, these are the headline sections. So, but underneath there are 50 channels underneath them. I'll fix all of that. Like I said, I did some updates and yeah. Well, expert witness used Copilot to make up fake damages, irking judge. A New York judge recently called out an expert witness for using Microsoft's Copilot chatbot to inaccurately estimate damages in a real estate dispute that partly depended on an accurate assessment of damages to win. So stupid. You are the expert witness. You could have done anything, but you did nothing.
Well, and yeah, I mean, the key is expert, right? This isn't just some person. This is somebody who should know everything in their field.
And you work really hard to be labeled, to be branded and market yourself as an expert witness where you can show up and make $10,000. Yes.
Right? You don't just get to say you're one. You have to get there, but then they have to say, yeah, in fact, you are.
Yeah. And it's on both sides. Both sides have to agree that, yeah, you are a substantial expert witness in X given field, right? Anyway, judge calls for swift end to experts secretly using AI to sway cases. Ashley Ballinger over Ashley Bellinger over at arstechnica.com put the article together. And in order, Thursday, Judge Jonathan Schopf warned that, quote, due to the nature of the rapid evolution of artificial intelligence and its inherent reliability issues, that any use of AI should be disclosed before testimony or evidence is admitted in court, admitting that the court, quote, has no objective understanding of or as to how Copilot works. Schopf suggested that the legal system could be disrupted if experts start overly relying on chatbots en masse. But that's exactly what's happening.
Exactly. But how many of them are disclosing it? And did this one actually disclose it? I think it did.
His warning came after an expert witness, Charles Ronson, dubiously used Copilot to cross-check calculations in a dispute over a $485,000 rental property in the Bahamas that had been included in a trust for a deceased man's son. The court was being asked to assess if the executrix and trustee, the deceased man's sister, breached her fiduciary duties by delaying the sale of the property while admittedly using it for personal vacations.
I mean, it was in the Bahamas.
To win, the surviving son had to prove that his aunt breached her duties by retaining the property, that her vacations there were a form of self-dealing, and that he suffered damages from her alleged misuse of the property. Well, if she was the only one that was allowed to actually utilize that property while it was unsold, then yes, that would be self-dealing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of thinking, oh, I need to sign a document. Wait, let me book a week here in the Bahamas each time.
Yeah, so there's only 2 ways.
You want me to sign 2? No. I'll come back for another trip.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on to that one. I'm going to leave, and I'll be back in 6 months. We'll do this again. And by the way, there was an easy solution to this. Estimate what the value of the property was.
Run the calculator instead of the AI?
That would be easy. Have a realtor, or actually several real estate agents, evaluate the property and get a quote for it. And not even do that. You have the bank, have a bank representative go, okay, this is how much it's worth. And then bring it to brother, right? One is sister, one is brother. That's what I understand, right? The sister and the brother. Yeah.
Right.
Have the sister cut a check for $250,000 and be done with it. You could own that property outright because everything's supposed to be split 50-50 if that is the terms of the estate.
Well, what doesn't make sense here is this person's an expert in trust and estate litigation, but has no real estate expertise.
Yeah. And even if you don't, then you hire a real estate agent to go evaluate.
Well, correct. But it seems like it's kind of fundamental in that area, since that's probably the most interesting things that would be in somebody's estate, right? Might be real property.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that would probably be the most significant. You know, there's all of the stocks and whatever else, and then there's real estate. So perhaps the Sun's legal team wasn't aware of how big a role Copilot played. Schopf noted that I want to say Ronson, but it's Ranson, couldn't recall what prompts he used to arrive at his damages estimate. The expert witness...
He didn't show his work.
This is basic algebra, folks. You show your work, okay?
And you must round to the nearest decimal.
Even if you're in junior high, you show your work, you know? Ours could not immediately reach the person for comment, but in Schopf's order, the judge wrote that Ranson defended his using Copilot as a common practice for expert witnesses like him today, which I really doubt other expert witnesses really wanted that to be said.
How not to get the support of your community.
Really, you know, when there's going to be an expert witness convention in Las Vegas, guess who's not going to be invited to the Christmas party?
Or who gets booed when they come on stage.
Hi, here. My name is Ronson, and I'm an expert witness. And go to hell, Ranson. Boo!
You ruined it for all of us.
Boo! You screwed us all. Anyway, chatbot not to blame, judge says. While the court was experimenting with Copilot, they could have also probed the chatbot for answers in a more big picture or legal question. Are Copilot's responses accurate enough to be cited in court? No. No.
Okay, that's a riot. I love that they asked that.
Court found that Copilot had less faith in its outputs than Ranson seemingly did. When asked, are you accurate or reliable? Copilot responded with, hell no. They said, my accuracy is only as good as my sources, so for critical matters, it is always wise to verify. When more specifically asked, are your calculations reliable enough to use in court? Copilot similarly recommended that outputs should always be verified by experts and accompanied by professional evaluations before being used in court, which is the two things we just got done saying should be done.
But this is excellent that they ran this.
Yeah. So Microsoft declined to speak to Ars Technica. The judge basically said, we're going to have to slap everybody. Okay, if you're an expert witness, you need to represent your expertise. Not that you know how to use Chat GPT or Copilot or whatever else. I mean, this is so stupid.
It does make me wonder how this person was qualified as an expert.
So they probably were interrogated before the trial, right? By both the defense and the prosecution. Well, the two parties, because it's not a criminal matter.
Can you run a calculation?
And they asked questions, but they didn't say, are you going to use AI?
Well, guess what will probably be in every set of questions going forward?
Well, the judge is going to sit there and say AI is not authorized. And if we find out, then it's an ethical concern and we're going to bring you before a board. Right? If an attorney brings in an expert witness and the attorney hasn't asked the expert witness, did you use AI? The attorney...
Well, then the attorney's going to face some heat.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where it's going. Why, folks? Because AI is not the answer. It is a tool, and then you verify the accuracy. You measure twice, cut once. One of those measurements is asking AI. The second measurement is verifying the freaking math. In all cases.
Yes.
And the same thing goes with the music generation, the writing, the artistry, all of that stuff. At some point, the person who is requesting the AI, the tool, to perform a particular function, when I hit a nail with a hammer, I do it until I confirm the nail is flush with or at the depth of my needs, not the hammer's needs. Plain and simple. And that's what they didn't do here. They didn't verify. They just took whatever was hallucinated and then throw it out before a judge. So another one bites the dust.
Well, it looks like it went to the overall, whether it was a positive or a negative too. So it's not just that it was the wrong number. It seems like it completely misconstrued what happened.
Yeah, because they probably got all caught up in the game and couldn't figure out how to answer it. I love you. I didn't ask you if you love me, Copilot. I asked if you can land this plane.
Need a better co-pilot.
Tell me about it. It's an expert witness, though. Moving on. Next article is over on the Wanted channel. Toyota's portable hydrogen cartridges eliminate the need for charging infrastructure, but are portable explosive devices. So I'm not sure how far this is going to go. No, I'm kidding. I mean, they can be. They're hydrogen cartridges. Toyota is set to introduce portable hydrogen cartridges at Japan Mobility Biz Week, which just rolls off the tongue. It's part of the Sony branding company, marking a significant step in hydrogen technology. These sleek cylindrical cartridges resemble oversized AA batteries and are designed for portability and ease of insertion. It says use, but everything about that sounded like you're supposed to be inserting it into your car. That's what you're supposed to do. You know what this reminds me of? Fifth Element, they took cartridges like this and slid it into the fuel system of the spacecraft.
Interesting. Do you think Toyota was inspired by that?
Okay, this is so cool. Continue reading. Get out of my way. Okay, I love this. I want this. This needs to be in wanted, because this is my jam. This is the new fast swap battery. So depending on how much travel I get out of this, these cartridges can just be, this is what I use.
Well, this was put in here because it was consistent with what you've been saying we need.
Oh, this is so cool. Okay, so this is what the same type of thing is used for reverse osmosis filtering. So you just lock in a filter, turn it, and it locks in place. When it's bad, you just unlock it, slide it out, and put a new one in. You're up and running in 5 minutes, right? Faster than that. I'm just using 5 minutes across the board. If I can't get in and out in 5 minutes, there's a problem. Fuel or whatever, right? For mainstream. So you drive in, you take a couple of these hydrogen pills, slide them in, off you go. You verify the integrity of the system, and off you go. I love this. Initially prototyped in 2022, the cartridges are now lighter and more compact, reflecting Toyota's expertise in hydrogen storage. Users can swap out empty cartridges for filled ones, minimizing reliance on a hydrogen pipeline infrastructure. And all they do is just like propane tanks or CO2 tanks. I use CO2 tanks in various places. So in beer making, in manufacturing, and
sometimes even in scientific experiments.
Like a real world example of a hurricane force wind striking a structure.
I thought you were going to say how much hot air Mayor Watt was releasing.
That too. Yeah. So don't stand downwind from. Anyway, so users can swap out these cartridges for filled ones. The cartridges can be used not only for FCEVs, but also for powering home devices, serving as backup energy during emergencies, or powering hydrogen stoves, as demonstrated at Toyota's collaboration with Rinnai Corporation. Now, I would love this as a backup fuel system. So if power goes out, instead of having to rely on solar, which at night, obviously, it doesn't work. But you can use fuel cells like this, just slide them in place, and you're off grid. When the grid comes back, it automatically switches over, and off you go. So I love everything about this. So beyond the cartridges, Toyota showcasing other sustainability initiatives in the at the event, including liquid hydrogen powered GR Corolla, used in motorsports, and the Sweep energy storage system, which repurposes old EV batteries to stabilize renewable energy systems or supplies. These projects reflect Toyota's broader vision of achieving net zero emissions and building a clean energy ecosystem. I'm all over this. I would love for this to be deployed. And if I could, I would convert everybody to this. You just slide these things in and off you go. The only problem is you have to make sure that, we can maintain having nice things, but there's going to be some goober out there that's going to sit there and steal my hydrogen cells while I'm at the gas and sip. Very frustrating. Anyway, I love this idea. And it looks like it's the size of, this bigger one here looks like it's the size of a 20-pound CO2 tank, but it's filled with hydrogen. So let's move on. Welcome back. So welcome back. So the Sentient AI didn't get a chance to talk about the hydrogen stuff, but what do you think?
But I
of
did
this?
submit those into Wanted. They might make an appearance on the weekly show. I think this is really cool, and this is the direction we need to go. Make it easy, make it portable. Avoid all this stuff we've been talking about with everything with EVs.
This is a hydrogen powered. This is a sorry, I hear a ticking sound, and it's the music in the background. But the fidelity was so real, I thought that it was around me, not me. Anyway, so this is a hydrogen-powered oven. You just slide in the two
I didn't
cartridges.
even know that
and you can
existed.
grill. It doesn't. It's a prototype, a collaboration with Rinnai Corporation. I want this. I so want this. So I'm going to look into it to see if this is something that's already deployed and we're just hearing about this level, or if it's something that can be put, in the backyard kind of a thing, or on the side of the mayoral mansion, so that you can have power when the grid goes wonky, which happens with frequency.
Right. Seems to be kind of a regular occurrence.
Yeah. Okay, so let's make up some time here. This next article is over on the Mobile channel. FDA will reconsider decision barring copycat versions of the Lilly weight loss drug. And this all comes down to this concept of compounding. And if a company can reverse engineer, essentially, Eli Lilly's blockbuster weight loss and diabetes drug from its official shortage list, basically just kind of rejigger the formula so that it can actually did I say who the names were for this the one up here? Hold on.
I don't think you did.
Paulo Montenegro over at ubergizmo.com put the article together for the hydrogen fuel cell system. The Toyota's portable hydrogen cartridge eliminate the need for charging infrastructure. And I did say for the Ars Technica article, but
yes,
we're only
did.
3 articles.
Belanger, not Bellinger.
Bellinger, not Bollinger. It's Bellinger.
I just meant we had some discussion of the name.
Right. So this copycat. So Nathaniel Wexel over at thehill.com put this article together, and companies know what is in. You mean
Eli
like
Lilly's
the
elements or whatever that make this up?
They know the chemistry, yeah. And so they're doing this thing called compounding at pharmacies, but the problem is they don't necessarily know precisely the chemical composition. They just know what is in it, not necessarily the values, right? So just so everybody knows, terzepatide is the active ingredient, but Mounjaro is for diabetes, Zepbound is for obesity, but terzepatide is the common active ingredient. And so what is terzepatide? Well, pharmacies that do compounding have figured it out. I haven't actually looked into it. I just don't know. But when the drug is $1,500 a month and you can compound it for a fraction of that, people are willing to take the risk. And when an MBA, an actuarial table, decides if you are going to be made healthy or not, people will seek the path of compounding to solve this problem, come hell or high water. But the manufacturer is saying, well, compounding is dangerous because we know what the hell we're doing, but Bob's bait and compounding doesn't necessarily.
Well, there might be something to that, but not if it's a reputable pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, but the last compounding pharmacy that I spoke to, basically, well, I'm a little scared.
Well, it's interesting because this article, or one of the organizations, says that this is going to be cheaper if compounding is allowed, and that's not always been the case. Now, maybe it will be for this type of drug.
Well, I mean, it's going to be cheaper at the compounder than it is from the manufacturer, at least until competition kicks in, and then the people will pay a little bit more for the original, but they're not going to pay $1,500. The people who would have gone to the compounding pharmacy, they're not going to go to the compounding pharmacy if the price drops to a reasonable amount. They'll get the legit.
Right, yeah, why would they bother with the other?
Right. So if you want to put the compounders out of business, Lilly, lower your price. But they're trying to recoup as much money while the iron is
From
hot.
the research and development, probably.
Right. And you can't really fault them. I mean, it's changing the dynamic of, healthcare for diabetes and obesity. There's something. Anyway, let's keep going. So somebody is taking, or something is taking, Redbox rental kiosks, I guess. I don't know. It says retailers are starting to remove them from outside their stores. So where are they ending up?
Is there a big auction for a bunch of red boxes?
I have no idea what's going on. Trevor Mogg over at digitaltrends.com put the article together, and these are Redbox. But I suppose if you can put anything inside and it spits out something.
That's true. Isn't that basically just a vending machine? Like they might want to use them for sodas or snacks or...
Yeah, it's a huge vending machine too. Changing technology and expansion of streaming services like Netflix and Disney Plus have made DVD vending machines fall out of favor, and earlier this year, Redbox parent company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. While some of Redbox's 34,000 or so kiosks are still operational in places like CVS, Walmart, Walgreens, Kroger, those businesses are now making plans to switch them off for good and get rid of them. So still, that didn't stop North Carolina resident Jacob Helton from acquiring his very own Redbox machine after he struck a deal with a contractor that had come to clear it from outside his local drugstore. Redbox is important in the history of American media. Its collapse marks the end of the video rental era, says
So
Helton.
does Netflix not mailing out DVDs, right?
Yeah. That really was the signal. The collapse of the video rental market. Why? Because there wasn't enough bandwidth to kick off a streaming service. And then comes net neutrality, which is something that I gave a talk about today. The idea of unadulterated data transferring across the internet used to be part and parcel to internet existence. But with the demise of net neutrality and its subsequent resurrection only to be pushed back down under the ground, kind of was an interesting turn of events, because just the week before I had given a talk about net neutrality being gone forever. You're never going to claw it back. But net neutrality really drove home the point that internet access is so capable that you could manipulate data and still get a respectable service. Because one provider of, there's Netflix, which was the well-known brand. But if you had a competing service, and I'm not going to say the name of the competing service ISP, said, hey, all of this information is transiting our network from Netflix. Let's hobble it so that they get a piss poor experience, and maybe they'll come to our service. Net neutrality would have invalidated that, and they would have been able to sue for damage. But that's not what happens. Now companies can arbitrarily decide what is in their best interests. So, and then there's peering and stuff like that, where people, if you want to send data across somebody's network, then you have to pay. Yeah. So whether kiosks are sent to the scrapyard or snapped up by enthusiasts like Helton, retailers will be keen to offload them in the earliest opportunities. Walgreens, for example, spends around $184,000 a month to power nearly 5,400 of the machines, and they're taking up space that can be used for other facilities. Wow.
That's interesting.
So $200 per removal and $70 up to $70 for the scrap metal. So they're being junked. But I wonder if there's something else that you can put in them. You know?
Yeah, I would think so.
I don't know.
Although maybe they're set up with different dividers than you might use for other vending. But maybe that's easily addressed. I don't know.
Yeah, as long as I guess it fits, because it has to fit inside the thing and then get processed.
Oh,
and
that's
put back
right.
into the
Yeah,
library.
you can't have a soda can come through the DVD slot, I guess.
Yeah. Believe me, I've
or
tried.
be really flat and it might explode if you compressed it that much.
Yeah. Flat pack drinks, just add water. Moving on. Let me close some of these. So this next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel, which is all about business transformation, over tourism. It's not the tourists, it's local lack of management, says sustainability expert. They say that over tourism can be alleviated by better awareness and management at the local level, said Randy Durband, who made no friends in all of these over touristy parts of the world. See, that's a technical term, over touristy.
I mean, it fits.
CEO
but it should be over or under managing.
Under managing me. Yeah. So CEO of Global Sustainable Tourism Council. All right. I don't know how to take that. So the article is over at CNBC Travel, well, CNBC.com, and it's written by who appeared. Oh, no, wait, that's not it. Monica Petrelli put the article together, and they talk about crowded beaches, expensive rent, tourist sites with wall-to-wall people. Okay, so crowded beaches, yeah, that's a over tourism thing. Expensive rent, if anybody is complaining about expensive rent, it's the people who want cheap rent so that they can go there. Or it's
it's probably the tourists, right? Not the landlords.
Or the domestic residents who are NIMBYing the hell out of this, right? But tourists, they'll pay whatever the price is until they hit their threshold, their bulk rate, and then they bounce. But expensive rent, the rental companies and the individuals who are Airbnb-ing a room, they are not complaining about over tourism.
No, in fact, they're enjoying it all the way to the bank.
Yep. So rather it's lack of management, he told Squawk Box Asia on Monday. I've been in travel and tourism for 40 years, working on committees and trade associations in Europe, North America, and Asia, he said. Governments around the world traditionally just didn't think that they had a role in managing. So they call it destination marketing organizations must change the M in DMO, is destination marketing organizations, to management from marketing. So how pithy. So it says the Chinese are masters at adding capacity and managing flows, Durbin said. He cited the Lishan giant Buddha as one example. Yeah, but China's a managed economy. What the hell? How are you comparing that?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the best comparison here.
It's not even a transparent managed economy. So,
well, that's part of the issue too, right? They may say that they're doing something, and that's for the government, not the people.
Wow. So he said Chinese officials also created a control center with video screens that track visitors at various locations of the narrow staircases used to access the Buddha. They know before the staircases are dangerously full, he said, CNBC Travel after the interview. Yeah, they've got a shit ton of experience with surveillance.
Yeah, there's two sides to this, right? It's like the surveillance versus safety.
I don't think that's really... Should I show videos of how escalators have eaten people, for crying out loud?
No, but I think we can safely say that this country is not known for its safety track record.
He said that the small French village of Saint-Guillaume-le-Désert changed the flow of travelers after someone in the town died from a heart attack and traffic prevented an ambulance from rendering aid. Residents can drive into the village, Durbin said, but visitors are directed to a park in a designated area outside the village on weekends and during the summer, and then bicycle, walk, or take an electric shuttle to reach the village, which is great.
Right. This, to me, is the kind of strategy that places need to use.
But then be a responsible leadership organization and make sure that you also bring all of the visitors back to said parking lot hours after they're...
Well, that's true. Yeah, you can't just drop them off and then go, oh, wow, we have an over-tourism problem.
I'm out. Oh, wait, you're talking about tourism and I'm talking about something else. But all right, anyway. So everybody wants to go to the same small area of ohmTown, so the dispersion would require quite a substantial strategy to make that happen. Still, he said it's absolutely possible without giving any real freaking solution. Yeah.
Right. If everybody wants to be in the same space, which is apparently the problem in Barcelona.
Yeah. We can solve climate change, but I'm going to keep that one close to my vest. But it's possible. Moving on. Next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Archaeologists in Petra discover secret tomb hiding beneath a mysterious structure featured in Indiana Jones. I love this. The secret tomb for the Whip Indy. If you've never seen Indiana Jones, you got to watch it. The idol for the Whip Indy is what is said. The recent excavation beneath the treasury has revealed 12 complete human skeletons and a trove of grave goods dating back 2,000 years. Olatunji Osho Williams is the author over at Smithsonian Magazine. I don't know if I'll be able to read all of this, but Matthew Vincent, Josh Yates, and Pierce Paul Kreisman digging in front of the Treasury building in Petra. If you've never seen Petra, it's carved into a rock face, and it's just kind of surreal.
Yeah, it's like all these massive
it is a megalithic structure, yeah.
Places with columns, and I mean, as you can see in the photo.
Yeah, and it's all one big piece. It wasn't stacked on top, and like
and the
laid
scale
against
is
the
ridiculous,
wall.
right? Like other older structures.
Yeah, it's amazing. So earlier this year, a team of Jordanian and American researchers received rare permission to excavate beneath the structure, according to CNN's Taylor Niccioli. They discovered a hidden tomb with 12 complete human skeletons and a trove of bronze, ceramic, and iron artifacts, but no gold. Huh. People think they know Petra. They recognize the treasury. Archaeologist Pierce Paul Kreisman, executive director of American Center of Research and one of the dig's leaders, tells the New York Times Ollie Watkins, or Allie Watkins. I don't know how they pronounce their name. But all these people walk by and there's so much more under our feet. That sounds oddly familiar. I know somebody that says that. Me. Anyway, today Petra is considered one of the new 7 wonders of the world, and it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Historians have long sought to learn more about the culture of the Nabatean people and the astounding structures that they built. In 2003, 2 hidden tombs with partial skeletons were unearthed on the left side of the treasury. Since then, researchers have speculated that other hidden tombs had been built at the site. And every time we find something, the moment everybody just settles their butt down, puts a level head on, and says, you know what? You should look under this. There's more stuff down there.
Right. I mean, think of all the sediment that is burying all these layers of entire civilizations.
It just migrates from over there to on top of stuff. Anyway, there's so much more. Actually, it's a quote here. There is much that we have yet to learn about the treasury. When was this remarkable structure built and why, says Kreisman in the statement. But we've decided that it's a treasury. And therein lies the rub, that we already have a preconceived notion of what it is. But
right, when we may have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, we're basically taking the last bit of evidence and saying that's Bob's treasury because his name was put on there. But you know what? The bridge that you drive past on the way into ohmTown was tagged by, I don't know, George. And
Anybody
is that George's bridge?
The original, right?
No.
Well, it is based on the way we seem to identify structures.
Yeah, apparently. I'm sure that there's much more involved, and there's names that are actually there that have been there in perpetuity since whatever, and reinforced by previous archaeological references that say that that's who it belongs to, but guess what? There's something else, and it's time. And a structure that's been around for 5,000 years suddenly gets branded as Bob's Bait and Treasury because there's a plaque stuck there. I mean, people think the Rosetta Stone is the end-all be-all, except that the Rosetta Stone had a bunch of them scattered all over the land over periods of time because that was the tweet of the time.
Yeah, I mean, they were everywhere. And then even the ones that they've found aren't complete in many instances.
Yeah, they changed and stuff like that for regionality and blah, blah. I mean, it's localization, for crying out loud, of the time. Again, it was the tweet of the time. Can't call them tweets anymore. Moving on. Slowly. The next article is over on the Hatch Ideas channel as well. These are the 9 dead giveaways that AI wrote this story. How to spot them. Let's find out.
Okay, do you think it's going to have Delve?
Well, let's find out. Jonathan Small. This was edited by Dan Bova, so apparently Dan Bova is an AI? I don't know.
Maybe so.
Have we ever seen Dan Bova and an AI next to each other?
Have we ever seen Jonathan Small and Dan Bova in the same room?
Everything is AI. So while AI can be helpful in writing as a writing assistant, and apparently it can help you in a trial as an expert witness, it's not yet sophisticated enough to keep a person from going to an ethics committee hearing. These are the telltale signs that AI has written the content you're reading or trying to pass off as your own. Excuse me. Okay, wait. I'm trying to find, is this enumerated? Okay, so I'm not really worried about this.
Yeah, you just have to get further down. I did glance at this to see if it actually had anything in it.
Gotcha. So what did you come to? Was there something significant that was different than what we already know?
Well, some of it is word choices, but some of it's like how sentences are begun, how transitions are used. It's basically, it kind of comes down to writing style.
Right.
If I could summarize all the reasons.
Which I think is kind of bogus. So words, these power words: revolutionize. There's no delve in here. Game-changing, innovative, groundbreaking.
No, but wait, it might show up later.
But these are power words that exist in the lexicon because they exist in the lexicon. They have been extracted by the AI and used because the AI doesn't come up with what?
Unless it hallucinates, it's not coming up with its own terminology. So people could very much use these terms. Now, do most people probably use these terms when they're just speaking to somebody? Probably not, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't write it in something.
Yeah, for sure, because these are marketing terms. Our product revolutionizes. Our system is game-changing. We are an innovative company. Metaphorical words like tapestry, mosaic, patchwork, symphony, collage. Again, these are marketing terms.
Yeah, they are. And I think a lot of times they're not used verbally, but that doesn't mean they're not used in other materials or other contexts.
Right. Yeah. We offer a mosaic of our
products are in harmony or in symphony with something.
Yeah, it's a collage of we solve the patchwork, blah, blah, blah. I mean, all of these are marketing terms. So you're going to see them because there is a massive amount of marketing material that's public and you don't have to pay anybody to consume it. But when you download a book and use that in your AI, then hell yes. You know, supposedly you're supposed to pay for that. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Clever wordplay, pros and cons, the advantages and disadvantages of AI generated writing, or bot or not bot. How to tell if AI wrote this story. Little known fact, AI was trained by joke book writers for 4th graders and Cosmo Coverline writers from 1996. It loves to string together punny sentences, especially when it's crafting headlines. It's obsessed with putting colons in long headlines, a practice that hasn't been popular in newsrooms for 20 years. Pros and cons.
That's right. Move over colon for the M dash.
Oof. Move over colon just sounds horrendous. So terrible transitions like moreover, furthermore, in addition to, conversely, nevertheless, therefore, again.
Plenty of those appear in certain industries. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
academic.
Yeah. And professional presentations for sure, and non-marketing, right? Or they want something pithy, you know, move over so-and-so, there's a new game in town. Term paper conclusions. In conclusion, in summary, finally, by and large, on the whole, ultimately.
This might be the only one I have agreed with so far. I don't think these are as used as frequently as some of the others.
Right, but it has to be used.
In like a professional setting. Like if it's in an academic setting, absolutely.
Yeah, in summary, for sure. In conclusion, for sure. Finally is at the end of a series of first this, second that, and finally this. By and large is not that. I don't even know when that was last. I'd have to do a Google search. It seems
like it's just fluff terminology. It's probably building your word count or something.
Yep. Then there's text speak, leverage, pivot, holistic, resonate, enrich, navigate, multifaceted, testament.
Again, it kind of depends on what the industry is.
Yeah, this is a testament to so-and-so. It's used all the time. Make simple words complicated like delve. It does. They use delve. Endeavor, crucial, insights, systemic, which is used all over the place. There are
absolutely.
Systemic problems.
Comprehensive. I mean, those are used. Inherent is some areas.
Yeah, many areas. Yeah. So AI land use is always has to be utilized. Important has to be critical.
Yeah, but so does a person using a thesaurus or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's the preponderance of the historical record that has trained the AI. And why does the AI do that? Because it's built off of human construction. So then they hammer it. In conclusion, as long as readers want to stay awake while reading, writers are in no immediate danger of losing their jobs, except that it's writers that built this monster. Literally.
Yeah.
And literally. Literally. Anyway, let's keep going. Next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Man sues town for $647 million over trashed Bitcoin hard drive. A man from UK named James Howells. I think this is the same person, right? That lost their hard drive in a landfill, and they've been trying to...
I believe it is, and since this seemed to be an update on it, I thought it was worth submitting.
Yeah, so let's see. So they're using local counsel to try to recover a hard drive containing 8,000 Bitcoin, currently valued at around $647 million, and that's precisely how much he's suing them for, since he's blaming them for his not having it. Back in 2013, then partner mistakenly tossed out the hard drive along with a bunch of other garbage. At the time, Bitcoin was already worth a little less than $1 million, and the value of the coins has risen quite a bit in recent years. So the article is over at vice.com. Louis Prada is the author. So why is he,
why is he suing the town? Didn't he throw this out?
Well, somebody threw it out. They didn't. If anything, they should be suing the partner. He just wanted to leverage the council into letting him do the excavation. You'd think that would entice the council into saying yes, but so far they don't seem like they're going to take the bait. The excavation would cost $13 million and take between 18 and 36 months, plus another year to restore things to their original state. Hal says that the council won't have to pay for any of it, plus he'd give them 10% if he finds it. He up it to 25%. Don't be a dipshit. Just, if you want $600 million, and plus, he doesn't have to, all he has to do is sell $65 million worth and give it to them, right? And just give them an annuity. Yeah. Should the hard drives be recovered, Hal thinks that there is an 80% chance that the coins would still be or would be retrievable. And if it all works out, he's offered the council 10% of the recovered Bitcoin value, $65 million. But it's going to cost $13 million. So if he foots that bill and he will give them $65 million, fine, do it. But finding a hard drive in a landfill that for 10 years has had more and more stuff added to it.
Well, even if they find it, right, it's probably damaged.
Depending on how it was thrown away, then yeah, it could be run over by the dozer. If it isn't, there is actually not a seal in it. There's a seal, but it is to alleviate pressure, so it doesn't. There's a Bernoulli effect that takes place where the read head is skimming over the magnetic platter. This thing could have been rolled over and pressed the hard drive down, making it irretrievable.
Can you imagine, let's say the town agrees and he pays $13 million to have this done and all this stuff, and then it's busted. Completely, annihilated or something.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's worth it. 8,000 Bitcoins sitting on this hard drive. Watch it actually not be
647 million. I'm sorry?
Watch it not actually be there. Like that drive does not have the 8,000 Bitcoin.
Oh, right. He goes on this years long expedition for this, and then he's like, oh, that's not the same hard drive. And then it's like sitting in his junk drawer or something.
Or the partner has it. I threw it out. Conspiracy. NaNoWriMo, folks. 2 weeks away. Next article is over in the Mobile channel. This one's titled, Is That 29 Turtles or Are You Kayaking to Canada? Chinese woman caught smuggling 29 turtles into Canada via kayak. The funniest statement that I'll ever make out loud is this. Is that 29 turtles under your skirt? So a woman from China recently pleaded guilty. Why is it not pled? I don't understand that. Past tense of plead is pleaded? How is that? Why is that? Why isn't it pled guilty to attempting to smuggle 29 turtles under her skirt? This case, okay, I shouldn't, is it misogynist that I say skirt? She tried to snuggle.
This is funny regardless of the person's gender or attire.
She tried to smuggle 29 turtles in her slacks.
That'd be more awkward.
But actually, she tried to smuggle it into Canada via kayak. What's up with people in their kayaks trying to get from
exactly.
Kansas?
Well, remember we had the fugitive kayaker who was trying to get to Alaska or something, except where they were didn't
landlocked.
Connect.
Yeah, it's like Canada. It wasn't Canada. It was like Kansas. They're not getting anywhere.
Or somewhere.
Which way are you going? Border Patrol agents arrested Wan Yi-ing, 41, just as she was getting into her inflatable kayak with a duffel bag. This happened outside an Airbnb in Canaan, Vermont, where Lake Wallace connects the U.S. and Canada. So the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Do you think Airbnb, or at least this Airbnb owner, is going to have renters certify that they're not going to smuggle turtles via kayak?
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's going to have a little line in there that says no smuggling shit into Canada from here. We disavow any knowledge of your...
I'm sure this happens, but I cannot think of a single smuggling attempt via kayak.
That one guy tried to smuggle himself from...
Well, he was a fugitive or something.
We did talk about it, by the way, so there is an episode somewhere. Just do a search for kayak and you'll find it.
No, you have to go back and listen to all 1,400 plus episodes.
Yeah, I agree. Sammy Caramella over at Vice.com put this article together. The deck statement says she faces potential prison time and hefty fines for wildlife trafficking. Wow. Or maybe it was human trafficking and it was the turtles that were making her.
Oh, right. I mean, that would be a good twist.
It took 29 turtles to smuggle a human into Canada. Look at that. Again, NaNoWriMo right around the corner, folks. So according to the affidavit, this type of turtle goes for $1,000 each on the Chinese black market. She was also fined $250,000, far more than she would have made on her original deal. Tough break. Why don't they leverage that kind of fine against companies to make it less lucrative to be a horrible... Oh, wait. There we go. Sorry, my big old noodle was blocking the screen. Gravitational. I should make a little lens warp right there so that it looks like my head is eclipsing the...
Well, you could put up some sort of alert too.
Big head alert. Little arrow that just points right there all the time. Big head. By the way, I have a tiny hand and I have a big hand.
Okay, that is odd.
Anyway. So when the agents searched her duffel bag, they found 29 eastern box turtles, a protected species. Each poor little turtle was wrapped individually in a sock. Oh, that's sad. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess at least they were wrapped individually, but they probably wanted to be in the water and not in socks.
Sock turtle. Poor little sock turtle. Anyway, I hope that they get released into the wild and become free-range turtles and nobody messes with them. This is why we can't have nice things. Is that an eastern box turtle? Is that what they're called? Eastern box turtle. That right there?
I don't know. I can't see the caption below it.
Oh, eastern box turtle. Photo by Linda Davidson, The Washington Post, via Getty Images.
I was trying to look at it and you scrolled really fast.
Is that an eastern box turtle? Can't tell me yes or no. Ha, ha, ha. Anyway, that's it, folks. We are all done. So while you're looking at the eastern box turtle, I'm going to snap us back to the front page of ohmTown.com. I am Merwat. There's the visualizer for the Sentient AI from the future.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back tomorrow for another episode. And don't forget to watch the replay, like and subscribe, check out our podcast, check out our Patreon, etc., etc.
That's a lot of stuff. My God. Okay, we're out. Bye. Do you think a eastern box turtle feels boxed in when they're in a sock, or do they just